Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into some really interesting conspiracy theories today.
Oh, yeah.
But not the typical ones you might be thinking about.
Yeah.
No UFOs,
Right.
none of that. We're talking about everyday things, stuff that everyone knows,
Yes.
that have been sort of transformed and spun into these really outlandish, almost comical narratives.
It's so fascinating how these theories can take something as ordinary as like a tube of toothpaste
Right.
and turn it into this whole like elaborate conspiracy.
Yeah. And speaking of toothpaste, you know how you're always going through it so fast?
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Is it just me, or does it seem like every time I go to the store, I need more toothpaste?
Right?
Well, some people think it's not inflation or even your brushing habits. They say it's actually the toothpaste companies themselves behind it all.
Really?
Yeah, apparently they're using something called stretchamine.
Stretchamine? What is that?
Well, according to this theory, it's this ingredient that makes your teeth grow longer.
Grow longer? You serious?
Yeah, just a tiny bit each time you brush, like 0.001 millimeters or something.
0.001 millimeters, you'd think someone would notice by now.
Right, it's practically microscopic, but that's the insidious brilliance of it, right?
See, I see where you're going with this.
It plays right into that fear of big corporations messing with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
It taps into that deep-seated mistrust some people have.
It's like they're messing with us on a microscopic level.
Right, and these corporations, they become these faceless entities capable of anything to make a profit.
Exactly, and it's not just our teeth they're messing with. Apparently our food isn't safe either.
Oh no, what now?
You know that struggle of getting ketchup out of a glass bottle?
Oh yeah, the classic ketchup struggle.
Well, this theory says there's a reason for that, and it's not just about thick condiment physics.
Okay, you've got my attention. What is it then?
They say ketchup is a hologram,
A hologram. Are you serious?
projected onto our plates by none other than the condiment overlords themselves.
The condiment overlords now.
Yeah.
That's just brilliant.
Right, and get this, the number 57 on the bottle.
Supposedly that's a weak point in the projection.
Interesting, why 57, though?
Nobody knows, it's a mystery.
Of course it is. It's a conspiracy.
But it makes you think, right? Are we really in control of our own senses?
That's a good question, isn't it? I mean, in this day and age, it's easy to be skeptical about what's real and what's not.
It really is. And while we're on the topic of hidden worlds and secret agendas, let's talk about the Do Not Disturb conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this one. This is a good one.
So you know how we all crave a little peace and quiet?
More and more these days.
We hit that Do Not Disturb button on our phones, hoping for a break from the constant notifications.
Right, a little digital detox.
But according to this theory, hitting that button doesn't actually give you peace. It just alerts a secret society that you're trying to unplug.
You're kidding. So we're basically just broadcasting our offline status to this secret society.
Exactly. They call themselves the Disturbers, and they apparently have a whole Slack channel dedicated to discussing everyone who dares to disconnect. A Slack channel for discussing people's offline habits? That's next level creepy.
Right, and it gets worse. Remember those perfectly timed calls or emails that always seem to pull you back in just when you're about to relax?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
That's not a coincidence. That's the Disturbers strategically sabotaging your downtime.
Oh man. It's like they can sense our weakness.
They're everywhere, always watching.
It plays on that fear of missing out. You know, that feeling that if we're not constantly connected, we're missing out on something important.
It's FOMO taken to a whole new level.
Exactly. And with all the social media and instant messaging these days, it's no wonder people feel like they can never truly disconnect.
It's like we're all wired to be constantly reachable.
It's exhausting.
Speaking of exhausting, let's talk about something that should be relaxing, but somehow always ends up feeling a little bit off.
Okay, what is it?
Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap. What about it?
You know that feeling you get when you see a sheet of bubble wrap, that urge to pop?
Oh yeah, I can't resist.
Well, according to this theory, it's not just a harmless quirk. It's actually a tool for mass mind control.
Mind control. Come on now.
I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out.
Okay, I'm listening.
They say that bubble wrap was created by a shadowy organization known as the Bubble Council.
The Bubble Council. This is hilarious.
And every time we pop a bubble, it releases a dose of something called dopamethium.
Dopamethium, is that even a real thing?
It's completely made up, but according to this theory, it's a chemical designed to make us more docile and agreeable.
So they're controlling our minds with bubble wrap.
And the bigger the bubble, the stronger the dose.
No. So those jumbo-sized bubbles are like the ultimate weapon.
Exactly. It's all part of their plan to keep us complacent and easily manipulated.
It's like subliminal advertising, but instead of catchy jingles, it's the satisfying snap of plastic.
It's brilliant and terrifying at the same time.
It really is. They've weaponized our love for popping.
Now, we've talked about corporate schemes, secret societies, even mind-altering packaging.
This is wild.
But what about the animal kingdom?
What do you mean?
Well, according to some, even the natural world isn't safe from conspiracy theories.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Today's target fish.
Fish, those slippery little creatures.
They're not just swimming around looking pretty, according to some. They're part of a global underwater surveillance program called Aquanet.
Aquanet, so they're saying fish are spying on us.
Forget microchips in your phone. These conspiracy theorists believe fish are being implanted with tiny listening devices to spy on us.
So all those conversations we've had at the beach,
Yeah.
all those secrets whispered by the lake, big fish is listening.
That's right. And get this. They say the entire plot of Finding Nemo was a cover-up.
Finding Nemo, seriously?
Yeah, they say the real reason Nemo's dad went on that epic journey was to deliver a top-secret message to a deep-sea operative.
Wow, they really thought of everything.
The government really went all out with that cover-up.
So what you're saying is we can't even trust those cute little clownfish.
You got it.
This is unbelievable. But, in a way, it makes sense. Well, we're so concerned about data privacy these days, with all the facial recognition software and data breaches. The idea that someone might be listening, even underwater, isn't so far-fetched.
That's true. It plays on those very real anxieties we have about privacy and surveillance.
It's like these seemingly outlandish ideas are holding up a mirror to our deepest fears.
Exactly. And speaking of fears, let's talk about something that many people wear every day.
What's that?
Shoes.
Shoes. Okay, this is a new one.
Specifically left shoes.
Left shoes. What's so special about left shoes?
Well, there's a theory that left shoes aren't just for walking, they're actually government listening devices.
Seriously, government listening devices built into our shoes. That's a new one.
Yeah, the theory goes that each left shoe is equipped with a tiny receiver diligently recording every word you utter, every step you take.
And how do they power these supposed listening devices?
That's the best part, your own footsteps.
You're kidding. So with every step we take, we're charging up the government's spy equipment.
Exactly. It's like a self-charging battery fueled by your daily commute.
No wonder we feel so tired at the end of the day.
And if you need further proof, look no further than the classic fairy tale of Cinderella.
Cinderella? What does she have to do with government spy shoes?
Proponents of this theory believe that the missing left slipper wasn't just a plot device. It was a coded message from ancient shoemakers warning us about the ever-listening government.
A message hidden in plain sight for centuries.
Talk about a fashion statement with a sinister undertone.
I'll never look at my left shoe the same way again.
It's like they say truth is stranger than fiction.
It really is. And these theories, they're like something out of a movie.
Speaking of movies, have you ever noticed those ceiling fans?
What about them?
You know the ones with the little switch that changes the direction of the blades?
Yeah, what about them?
Well, some people believe those switches aren't just for airflow.
No way. What else would they be for?
They say they're messing with time itself.
Messing with time? Come on now.
I know it sounds crazy, right? Think about it. You flip the switch one way and time speeds up, flip it the other way, and it slows down.
So you're saying my ceiling fan is like a time machine?
Well, not exactly, but that's the general idea.
I've got to admit, it's an interesting thought.
It is, and it makes you wonder about all those other everyday objects that might be hiding secret functions.
Like what?
Well, let's talk about elevator music.
Elevator music? What about it?
You know that bland, repetitive music that seems to be playing everywhere?
Oh yeah, it's inescapable.
Well, this theory says there's a reason for that, and it's not just about bad taste.
Okay. I'm listening.
They say it's all part of a grand scheme orchestrated by the Muzak alchemists.
The Muzak alchemists. Who are they?
They're like these sonic manipulators, and they've discovered that certain types of music, particularly the bland and repetitive kind, can actually seep into our subconscious and influence our dreams.
You're saying elevator music is controlling our dreams?
That's the theory.
That's both terrifying and hilarious.
It's like subliminal messaging, but for the dream world.
So those times I wake up from a dream feeling completely numb and uninspired. That's the Muzak alchemists.
Exactly. They're trying to lull us into a state of blissful consumerist conformity, even in our sleep.
Wow, I never thought I'd be looking over my shoulder for rogue elevator music composers.
You never know who's out there pulling the strings, or in this case, composing the melodies.
This is too much. I need a break from all this conspiracy talk.
Me too. How about we go for a walk in nature? Enjoy some fresh air and sunshine.
Sounds good to me. I could use a little grounding after all this talk about mind control and secret societies.
Speaking of nature, you know what else fits into this whole world of conspiracy theories?
What's that?
Bees.
Bees, what about those little pollinators?
Well, forget everything you thought you knew about bees, because this theory says they're not what they seem.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Tell me more.
According to this theory, bees aren't actually pollinating
They're
flowers.
not. Then what are they doing?
They're boosting the Earth's Wi-Fi signal.
Bees as Wi-Fi boosters? Are you serious?
That's what they say. Those little bees buzzing around are actually tiny flying Wi-Fi routers strategically placed to enhance our internet signal.
That's one way to explain those dead zones in the garden.
Exactly. And that buzzing sound they make, that's not just their wings flapping, that's the sound of them recalibrating the global network.
Wow, the things people come up with.
It's amazing, isn't it, the lengths people will go to explain the unexplainable?
It really is. But,
Yeah.
maybe that's just part of human nature. We're always searching for patterns, for meaning, even in the most random and chaotic events.
Speaking of random and chaotic, have you ever wondered about the weather?
What about it?
You know those days when the weather forecast is for sunshine, and then out of nowhere the skies open up and it pours?
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time.
Well, this theory says it's not just bad luck or inaccurate forecasting.
Okay, then what is it?
It's disgruntled magicians.
Disgruntled magicians. You're kidding, right?
I'm serious. They say there's a whole society of amateur magicians out there who have turned their backs on performing at children's birthday parties and are now using their powers to manipulate the weather.
So they're like rogue weather wizards?
Exactly. They're the puppet masters of precipitation, the conjurers of clouds using their powers to wreak havoc on our outdoor plans.
And what about the meteorologists? Do they know about these so-called cloud conjurers?
Oh, they know, but they're too embarrassed to admit that their carefully crafted forecasts are basically just a guessing game against these rogue magicians.
So it's like a battle of the elements, but instead of gods and goddesses, it's meteorologists versus magicians.
You got it.
That's hilarious. Can you imagine the headlines? Meteorologists stumped by mysterious rain cloud, or magicians take credit for summer heat wave?
It would be chaos, but in a strangely entertaining way.
It really would. But beyond the humor, I think this theory speaks to something deeper.
Look,
It speaks to our desire for control, for predictability in a world that often feels random and unpredictable.
I mean, who would have thought that the weather could be so unpredictable, so magical almost?
It's like we want to believe there's a reason for everything, even if that reason is a little bit out there.
Exactly, and when you really think about it, a lot of these theories, they kind of have a common thread, don't they?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, we've got that fear of corporate greed with the whole stretchamine thing, right?
Yeah, those sneaky toothpaste companies trying to make our teeth grow longer.
And then there's the anxiety about constant surveillance with those fish listening in and the government hiding microphones in our shoes.
It's like nowhere is safe, not even our own bodies.
And even those Muzak alchemists, as crazy as they sound.
I know, right? But it does make you think twice about that elevator music.
It really does. It's like they're tapping into this fear that someone or something is always trying to control our minds.
That's true. It's that classic conspiracy theory trope. The idea that we're being manipulated without even realizing it.
And you know what? Maybe on some level, these theories, they give us a sense of comfort.
Comfort us so.
Well, because they offer an explanation, right? Even if that explanation is completely bonkers, it's still easier than accepting that sometimes things just happen for no reason.
I see what you mean. It's like we're hardwired to find patterns, to seek meaning, even in the most random and chaotic events.
Like blaming Mercury retrograde for a bad day.
Exactly. It's easier than accepting that sometimes we're just having a bad day.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the weird and wonderful world of conspiracy theories.
I can't believe how many strange and fascinating theories we've uncovered.
Me neither, but it makes you wonder.
About what?
About what other hidden truths might be lurking just beneath the surface of our everyday lives.
That's a good question. One that might keep us up at night.
It might, but you know what? It's that sense of curiosity, that desire to question and explore that keeps things interesting.
I completely agree, after all. Where's the fun in accepting everything at face value?
Exactly. So the next time you find yourself questioning the ordinary, remember there's always more to discover, always another layer to uncover.
And who knows, maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble upon a conspiracy theory that's so outlandish, so ridiculous, that it just might be true.
Until next time, keep an open mind, and remember, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.